Welcome everybody to week 1 of the Triangle Townies Fantasy Football League. As you can tell, we've stepped up the video quality here a little bit over the past couple of seasons. It's starting to look semi-professional. But nonetheless, here we are. We are at the end of week 1. Monday Night Football is in the books. We have actual football being played. No more preseason. We got full fantasy football scores. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the overall matchups, the standings, next week's matchups, and break down each game a little bit for you guys. So let's jump right in and see what we got in week 1. So a quick glance at week 1 of the regular season. We have yours truly, Lee Phillips at Big Newton, taking on Jordan's Durham Bison. Jordan usually starts off the season pretty strong with good regular season records. Not going to get it done this week, though, as topple him 143 to 128. That's the most points in the league for those of you keeping score at home. We have last year's runner-up, Mr. Taj Peppers, and Joe Shin, the 2 years ago running-up person, I guess, if that's how you want to say it. Anyway, dropping a 110.3 to 127 decision, so Taj starts 1-0. Team Shockley, the ever more popularly team-named Team Shockley, against the Wichita Lawn Pigs, one of our expansion teams this year. Kurt gets the W, 138 to 108. So a big week 1 for a new team there. We move over in the New Zealand Kiwi Birds, hung on for a 136-135 matchup against Mr. Sailor's Hershey Bears. Definitely one of the more exciting matchups of this week. As a one-point decision is always pretty rare to find in fantasy football. Last but not least, we have one of our lower scoring matchups of the week, but Mr. Mike will take it. Mr. Paul Blart Mall Cop takes a 111.3 to 102 decision over House Autry, as Josh, sorry buddy, you scored the lowest amount of points in the league this week. So we move on. Let's take a look at some of the more individual matchups. All right, we'll start with Big Newton and Durham Bison, as we have our box score here as a 143-128 previously mentioned. Our really strong defenses kind of both held us in these matchups this week. The Broncos and Seahawks both getting 20 points. A big difference, my kicker really just came through. McManus nailed a couple of 50-yard field goals. Took an 18-4 decision there. Jordan, you left some points on the bench there with Mr. Rivers. That's really about the only real play you could have made to avoid that, avoid this loss. But Cam, respectable 19 points, but Rivers played out of his mind, 35 points. I had the connection of Ben Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown in the last minute of that Steelers game. Jamal Charles, held in there pretty nice. But I also left a bunch of points on the bench. Tyler Eifert would have been a nice play, but who's to know? So, that's Big Newton, that's Durham Bison. Our next matchup, let's see who it is. We have Rex in Effect and Triangle Firebirds. Definitely Joe was bamboozled by the quarterbacks here as Tom Brady really outshone Peyton Manning. That Denver offense not helping out Joe. A lot of single-digit points on that team. Carlos Hyde, a nice bright spot. The Rams' defense really holding Seattle in check. Taj, a strong effort from Drew Brees and Mark Ingram in the Saints' offense. Keenan Allen, obviously a big surprise there. So a lot of good plays there from Mr. Peppers. Fairly even on a couple other spots. So Taj takes the win, and we move on to our next matchup. We have Team Shockley and the Wichita Lawn Pigs, one of our new expansion teams. Really strong efforts from Tony Romo and Matt Forte were enough to carry the Wichita Lawn Pigs, Mr. Kurt Cusick, to a victory, 138 to 108 over Team Shockley. Russell Wilson did nice. Chris Ivory and Jeremy Hill, a nice running back tandem. You got some trouble there with Des Bryant, Deb. Looks like he's going to miss a couple weeks. Brandon Cooks didn't perform as well as necessarily thought. And I know it's tough to play that Ravens defense instead of the Steelers, Deb, but oh man, did that defense look good against the Broncos. As the Steelers were definitely outperformed there. And who had ever thought leaving the Tampa Bay tight end on the bench would do you in, but so be it. Vinatieri also didn't help out with -1 points. So Kurt takes the win there for the new expansion teams, and we move on to our other expansion team, Paul Blart Mall Cop and House Autry. Josh finishing third in the league last year. The second overall pick, Andrew Luck, performed about as well as you could expect. Jarvis Landry with a nice day. The Jets defense definitely putting up some points, but Josh just done in by too many single digits out of Darren McFadden, Amari Cooper, Odell Beckham Jr., and Calvin Johnson, a surprise 3 points there. Paul Blart getting a really nice effort from the Panthers defense, and your kicker, Matt Bryant, 17 points there. Otherwise, a fairly lackluster effort there. Owen Daniels, no points. Looks like you both played some of the right players, but just a rough couple of weeks, a rough week for both of y'all. That usually means it can only get better from there, though. So we move on to our last and most exciting matchup of week 1. That is the New Zealand Kiwi Birds and the Hershey Bears. It's Bears versus Birds. Usually the winner of that would be a bear, but this is fantasy football, not the Wild. Aaron Rodgers, a solid play. Of course, Carson Palmer, who'd have thought out would shine him by 10 points there. Very, very spirited efforts on both sides here. Jason was down by a good amount, and Jason Witten, DeMarco Murray, and Jordan Matthews all had very nice days. But Amanda, you held on by a point, 136 to 135. Alex Smith with a nice day. Obviously, Julio Jones is a beast. And Travis Kelce looks to be the real deal out there in Kansas City, as they can't seem to find wide receivers for touchdowns, so they'll throw them to the tight end all day. So definitely our most exciting matchup of the week, a 1-point victory. That looks to be both a strong campaign for both teams this season. So there you have it, guys. That's week 1 scores in the book. Half of us obviously undefeated, half of us still searching for that first W. Which brings us to our next week's matchups. Looks to be a couple of good ones in there. Let's take a look. We have yours truly, Big Newton, against Joe's Triangle Firebirds. We have the New Zealand Kiwi Birds looking to keep that 1-point effort alive as they face off with Team Shockley. We have Paul Blart Mall Cop and Rex in Effect, our only 1-0 matchup of the week. We have the Wichita Lawn Pigs and the Durham Bison. Looking to get on the winning column there is Jordan. And we have the winners opposite here, the losers, Hershey Bears, House Autry. Jason looking to continue a strong week with a victory over Josh. Thanks as always for tuning in, guys. It's your Tuesday morning commissioner, Lee, Big Newton, whatever you want to call him, a former champion, looking to get back on the right side of things this year. We'll see you guys for week 2. Looking forward to it, guys. Peace out.